Coming at you with 6 prop picks for tonight by Brian Robinson Jr. It's a good play. And if Tom Brawley likes it, it's probably a great play. I'm not going to do it. I don't like copying unless it's really, really good. I mean, I copied Tom and Brett. Not that I copied, but we were on the same page on Derrick Henry. Didn't go well. That was one of our L's this past week. I'm thinking about taking the under on Henry just for spite this week. See what happens. Anyways, let's get into the 6 props plus the Monday night special. Number 1, if you've listened to me at all on SiriusXM over the years or last couple of years, or you watch this program religiously, you know one of my favorite dudes I've ever met or interviewed in my career is Ricky Pearsall. Somebody on Twitter is like, nobody cares if you interviewed a guy. Like, yeah, they do care. You know why they care? Because I've got a pretty good track record going back 20 years of surmising the vibe, and it plays out. That's why people care. So Ricky, great vibes. Obviously, the injuries don't protect him. The good vibes don't protect him from injuries, basically. That's the only problem, because otherwise he's awesome. So I'm going to go 40.5 here over on FanDuel this morning. So it's a great number. Tremendous matchup. As I mentioned earlier, they use the 4th highest rate of cover 3 about 40% of the time. And Ricky averages 3.73 yards per route run. That's a massive number. 0.32 targets per route run. Big number. 37 routes. Not a huge sample. But the Panthers also allow the 6th most yards per reception to outside receivers. I know, based on the alignment numbers at least. Maybe they switch it up, but based on the alignment numbers, he should see more of Mike Jackson, not J.C. Horn. They give up the 5th most schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to wide receivers who line up on the right side, which is where he's at more often than not. So I love me some Ricky Pearsall in this game. Next up, Rico Dowdle. We'll go over. This is poor odds. Every once in a while, I throw out one that is a little easier for me to win, basically, based on these odds. I mean, there's other lines out there at 17.5. It's probably a moot point, but considering we've lost way more props by 3 or fewer yards than we've won, I'm going to go with this. It'll probably hit at 17.5, 15.5, minus 140. San Fran allows the 12th most receiving yards per game to running backs. Rico Dowdle dominated Chuba Hubbard in the route share last week, 60% to 16. So Chuba is like in the dirt. San Fran, this is how deep we go over at Fantasy Points Data. San Fran is 5th in the league in check down percentage. So they're top 5 in terms of their opponents. Check, baby, check, baby, check. They check it down. The 49ers give up the 4th most schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to running backs in the passing game. So we're checking a lot of boxes here. We're also saying the word check a lot. But Rico should go over this number here at 15.5 receiving yards. Next up, the Tet offensive. As we discussed with Tom Brawley, I like Tet to go over this number at 62.5. San Fran uses that cover 3. He's well over 2 yards per route run, which is a very good number. Like I said before, based on the alignment, he should see a lot of Renardo Green, who gives up pretty healthy 2.29 fantasy points per route run. And Michael Wilson crushed them last week. 15 for 185. They had no answer. San Fran gives up the most schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to wide receivers in total. They also give up the 13th most to wide receivers who line up on the left side. By the way, not for nothing, they are, 7-point road underdogs. So you would think that Bryce Young will have to sling it. And, of course, you would also think that he should have some success because the pressure has been really what gets Bryce Young. And as we stated before, the Niners are dead last in pressure rate, which bodes well for Bryce Young, and it certainly bodes well for Tet McMillan. And it also bodes well for Jalen Coker. That's right. I'm going there. A lot of people, fans of his, they call him cokeheads. I don't think I'm going to go there, but I like Jalen Coker to get to 28.5 receiving yards. Maybe I will be if he wins this prop handily. Minus 115 at BetMGM. Now, I looked pretty deeply into this. I didn't have to look that deep, though, initially, because we have a little schedule-adjusted fantasy points given up tool. San Fran gives up the most schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to slot receivers the last 5 weeks. It's worth 8.6 plus fantasy points. You could argue that's like 4 grabs for 46 yards, just added to your average total. That's what I mean when I say it's worth plus 8.6. Last week, Greg Dortch got him for 6 grabs for 61 and a touch on 6 targets with a long 17. 2 weeks ago, Wan'Dale Robinson caught him 9 balls in this matchup on 11 targets. I even went back in week 8, and rookie Jalen Noel out of the slot caught 5 of 6 targets for 63. Playing from behind, not a good matchup for Xavier Legette, which we'll get to. So I think it's going to be Bryce Young throwing to Tet and Jalen Coker. He'll throw, I'm sure, a couple balls to the tight ends. Nobody cares about those tight ends. If a tight end in Carolina scores, it's like a tree falling in the woods. Does it really happen if we didn't notice it? Next up, these are a lot of props, but I feel good about them. Rico Dowdle, we're going to go under 75.5 rushing yards. We are in the throes still of November. We are 19-4. We haven't cursed ourselves mentioning the record yet. I can't believe it. It must be under. It must be an under thing. Well, I think he might be hitting a little bit of a wall. The last 2 games, Rico's got 37 carries. That's good, right? 98 yards. That's 2.6 yards per carry. Not exactly feeling warm and fuzzy about Rico's ability to sustain it. Certainly possible. He's had a very good year. And the Ram guys did pretty well 2 weeks ago. It's not a scary matchup, but it's middling. And they're also a little bit more vulnerable in the passing attack. So I think Rico is going to be a little bit more involved in the passing game, which, by the way, he has been in these last 2 games when he's kind of been on the struggle bus running the ball. He's got 10 targets and 8 catches in his last 2 games for 65 yards. So they're using him a little bit more in the passing attack. So we're going to go over on the receiving, and correspondingly, we're going to go under on the rushing. Again, it's November. We got to get these unders in there. And then the last one we'll go is Xavier Legette. And I'm going to go under 2.5 receptions. He is a little bit of a big play threat. So on the chance that he makes one play on like one catch, I'm going to bet against his ability to catch 3 balls. Basically, it's a terrible schematic matchup up against the cover 3. He averages 0.13 targets per route run, which is not a lot, and 0.40, which is horrifically bad. He'll see a lot more of Diomede Lenore, who's their best corner, who is the 7th least targeted corner playing this week. So there's the 6 props. I'm also going to go in because of the great schematic matchup and overall individual matchup for Jalen Coker. How about a Jalen Coker anytime touchdown at plus 400? Your Monday night special is, in fact, my guy, Ricky Pearsall. Goose egg people last week, but George Kittle was also slow going when he returned from a long layoff. Pearsall had a great week of practice last week. Reportedly had a great week this week. They're feeling good. Good schematic matchup. Better matchup than Juwan Jennings. They're going to take some shots to Ricky in this game. So if he gets to 70, it's a plus 292. That is your Monday night special here on this show.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at 0 cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.